Okay, so this is specifically for my classes for when I'm out on retreat. Due tomorrow at the end of class, you'll notice you should have circulated the water through your heater for 20 minutes. And hopefully you've done that. Hopefully you've recorded the temperature change for a total of 20 minutes, taking the temperature every 5 minutes. You'll notice that's on page 2 of your worksheet. Your initial state, your elapsed time is 0. The temperature that you start with, for example, might be something like 22 degrees Celsius, and your change in temperature when you start, since you haven't run it yet, should be 0. You're going to take you're going to take 4 more temperature readings, one in 5 minutes, one at minute 10, one at minute 15, and the other after 20 minutes. So in class, girls, you really need to make sure that by 2:30 you have started to collect your data. If your unit is leaking, that's just something that happens. The seals just aren't watertight for some of you. Make sure you have a metal pan or something waterproof under your storage tank so if it does leak, it doesn't get all over the place. Remember that when you are taking your temperature readings, you need to put your thermometer into the middle of the water in the storage tank, and then you need to make that read the thermometer when it's in your storage tank. If that's too hard, because some of your designs for your storage tank, you really can't read the thermometer when it's in there, then take the temperature of the water in the styrofoam cup when it comes out of the piping right before you put it into your circulation or right before you put it into your storage tank. That just might be an easier thing for you to do. So take the temperature of the water in the styrofoam cup prior to pouring it in your storage tank if it's too hard for you to do it while the water is in the storage tank. Okay. Another thing you want to do is when you collect your data, you want to graph it. So you want to have time and temperature as your two variables on your graph. Remember, on your x-axis you're going to have time, and on your y-axis you're going to have temperature. And what kind of graph are you going to do for this? Well, since you're graphing a change over time, that's right, you're going to use a line graph. Make sure the graph paper is on my desk. It says solar water heater graph. You want to make sure you get one. Yes, it's one per person. And you also want to make sure that you use all of your, well, you want to make sure your graph is complete. Give it a title, label your y-axis, label your x-axis, and make sure your intervals are constant and evenly spaced. And then you'll see a section there that says provide a one-sentence summary about the relationship between time and temperature. Okay, so once you're done that, you have to break down your models, or I should say, once you've collected your data, break down your models. If you look in the back of the room, you'll see I have different areas in which you're going to dispose of the different parts of your model. There's a bag there for insulation, a bag there for bottles, a bag for boxes. You should be flattened and placed in the container. Then there's a box for the metal trays, and there's a box for the hosing. Please, please, please make sure that you put the parts of your model into the appropriate containers, and then I will take care of that when I get back. So that's your goal for today. So this is really for my 9th period class because I won't be here with you. You really need to make sure that your data has been collected for 20 minutes. So at 2:30 you start collecting your data. Everything else, the graph, the questions on page 3 and 4, you need to do at home in order for me to come in, or when I come in on Monday, that should be done. The only question you really need to do in the lab is the part 4 evaluate. It tells you to compare your value to those obtained by 3 different teams. We can do that when we get back. So you can skip part 4 where it says evaluate on page 3 because we can always use your sketches to evaluate. We don't need the models to evaluate. And then you'll notice on page 4 you'll see that there's questions there that you can answer. So when I get back from Kairos, my wonderful 9th period class, what you need to have done above all else is you need to have collected data for 20 minutes. You need to break down your models. Mr. Z, I'm sure will help you with the calculations if you need it to determine the amount of heat gained by the water because you're going to be using the 4 variable formula for heat absorbed. So, and it's there for you on page 3. Okay, so enough talking, and you guys get done what you have to get done today. Thanks so much. Hope that was helpful.